Harry Potter was a very big success around the world. Many people loved the books about the young wizard. Then movies were made. They needed a boy to play Harry Potter. A young boy named Daniel Radcliffe got this important part. He became famous very, very fast. One day he was a normal child. The next day everyone knew his name. This was a big change. Daniel's parents were not sure about it at first. They felt worried. Playing Harry Potter was a very big job. It was not just one movie, but many movies. It would change Daniel's life a lot. At first, his parents did not want him to even try for the role. But later, things changed, and Daniel became the famous boy wizard. For 10 years, Daniel grew up playing Harry Potter in the films. People all over the world watched him. After the Harry Potter films finished, Daniel wanted to do different kinds of acting jobs. He did plays on stage and acted in other movies. He showed that he could play many different characters. His journey was not always simple. He had good times and hard times. But he kept acting and trying new things. People still like him very much. He started as the boy who lived in a magical world, and he became an actor who lives in the real world doing many interesting jobs. 2. A young boy's start. Daniel Jacob Radcliffe was born in London on July 23, 1989. His father, Alan Radcliffe, worked as a literary agent. His mother, Marcia Gresham, was a casting agent. Daniel was their only child. His family had different roots, including some from South Africa and Northern Ireland. Daniel had a normal early childhood, but around age 7, he learned he had something called dyspraxia. It is like dyslexia, but it affects how a person moves and coordinates their body. Daniel's brain worked well with words, but simple things like tying shoelaces or riding a bike were hard for him. It could be frustrating sometimes, and it made school difficult. He went to a private school for boys. It was known for good results, but Daniel did not have easy times there. He was a talkative and sometimes disorganized boy. He remembered a teacher telling him he was stupid when he was 8 years old. This made him feel bad. His mother went to the school to speak to the teacher about it. Daniel felt that school was not the best place for him to learn. He learned better by talking and moving, not sitting still and being quiet. Because school was hard, a friend of his parents, who was an agent, suggested Daniel try acting. She thought it could help him feel more confident. His parents were careful about this at first. They had said no to an audition for another role before because Daniel was too young. But they let him audition for a BBC television show called David Copperfield. Nobody really thought Daniel would get the part. He was just a boy with no real acting experience. But he sent a photo to the BBC, and the people making the show liked him. The producer, Kate Harwood, who knew his family, saw something special in him. She said he was natural and innocent. The director, Simon Curtis, also liked him right away. Daniel had several auditions, and finally he got the lead role as young David Copperfield. He was 9 years old when filming started, turning 10 soon after. This was his very first time acting on screen. The show was shown on television over Christmas in 1999. Daniel worked with famous actors like Maggie Smith, who played Aunt Betsy Trotwood. Maggie Smith was impressed by Daniel's acting. Even though he was young and full of energy on set, he took the acting seriously. His parents were very supportive during this time. They helped him and made sure he was okay as he started this new journey into acting. Daniel was happy to have their support as his life began to change. 3. The famous wizard. Finding the actor to play Harry Potter was a very long job. The people making the film looked for 9 months. They saw about 16,000 children. The director, Chris Columbus, watched many videos, but he could not find the right boy for the famous part. Then Chris Columbus saw Daniel. He saw Daniel in a TV show called David Copperfield. Daniel played the young David. Columbus liked Daniel very much. He saw something special in Daniel's eyes. He felt he was the perfect boy for Harry Potter. But Daniel's parents were not sure. They did not want Daniel to try out for the part at first. This was a very big role, not just one film. They worried about the changes it would bring to Daniel's life. They knew the film company wanted the actor for many movies far from home. By chance, producer David Heyman met Daniel and his parents at a play in London. Heyman knew Daniel's parents already. His mother worked with Daniel's father. Heyman told Chris Columbus that he had seen Daniel. Columbus was very keen to meet Daniel quickly. The film company changed the plan for the films. They agreed to make the first 2 films in Britain. This helped Daniel's parents feel better. They finally agreed to let him try out. They were careful because they knew how big the movie would be. Chris Columbus promised Daniel's parents that their son would be safe and looked after. Daniel had a formal meeting. Then he had 3 auditions and some screen tests. He felt nervous. He was not sure he would get the part, but he hoped he would. His parents told him to hope, but not too much. Many other children were also trying for the role. The news talked about the search a lot. In one test, Daniel wore the famous glasses. He had to show different feelings. Chris Columbus even made small mistakes on purpose to see how Daniel would react. Daniel did well. J.K. Rowling, the writer of the books, saw the screen tests. She liked Daniel very much. She said watching him made her feel like she had a son. One night, a week or so later, Daniel was at home. He was in the bath. The phone rang. His father answered. It was David Heyman. Daniel thought it was bad news that he did not get the part, but his father came upstairs and told him he got the role of Harry Potter. Daniel was very, very happy. He started to cry because he was so full of joy. It was a very important moment that changed his life forever. The news came out very quickly the next day. Suddenly, Daniel was famous around the world. Reporters came to his house fast. His friends saw him on TV and learned he was Harry Potter. Daniel was shy to tell them himself. Warner Bros., the film company, made an official announcement. They said Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint would play Harry, Hermione, and Ron. They said they looked everywhere and found the perfect children for these magical parts. Daniel, Emma, and Rupert were just kids at that time. They did not know how big the film would become. They had a press conference. Daniel said that day he understood how big a deal it was going to be. He became famous very fast as the boy wizard Harry Potter. 4. Growing up as Harry. Filming the first Harry Potter movie, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, was a new adventure for Daniel. He was just starting his journey as a young actor. On set, he worked with many well-known British actors who had long careers. People like Maggie Smith, who played Professor McGonagall, and Richard Harris, who played Dumbledore, were part of the cast. It was amazing for Daniel to be around such talented people and watch them work. Life on the film set was busy and had a clear routine. Daniel had school lessons on set for 3 to 5 hours every day, making sure he did not miss his education. But there was also time for fun and games. Daniel, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson played together and sometimes did pranks on set. Daniel once put fake blood on his face to surprise people. He also said he broke many wands because he used them like drumsticks when he was bored or had energy. The older actors sometimes joined the fun or were the targets of jokes. Alan Rickman, who played Professor Snape, used a fart machine on set to make people laugh during quiet moments. As Daniel grew up during the filming of the 8 movies, his body changed naturally, just like any teenager. His voice got lower, which sometimes made filming difficult to keep the sound the same. He even had to shave his legs for one scene in the second movie, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, because Harry was not supposed to have hairy legs yet according to the story. He also had a small physical problem with the glasses he wore for Harry's character. They were made of metal that hurt his skin around his eyes, causing a small allergy. So, he got special glasses made of a different material that did not cause problems. As he got older, the glasses he wore in the films also got bigger to fit his growing face. Making the movies became more complex as the stories got darker. For the second film, Daniel had to learn how to talk in a snake language called Parseltongue. For the third film, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, the story had sad and scary parts. Daniel had to show deeper feelings like anger and sadness that Harry felt. He learned new ways to act from the directors. Chris Columbus directed the first 2 films, and later Alfonso Cuarón directed the third. Cuarón even asked the young actors to write about their characters' feelings, which helped them understand their roles better. In the fourth movie, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Harry was a teenager, and Daniel was a teenager too. Harry started to notice girls and have romantic feelings. In this movie, Daniel had his first on-screen kiss. It felt strange to kiss someone he knew well, like Emma Watson or Katie Leung. Daniel also had to film scenes underwater for the Triwizard Tournament. He learned to scuba dive for this and spent many hours in a big water tank built for the movie. It was hard to hold his breath and not let out air bubbles because Harry was supposed to be able to breathe water. He wanted to do some of the difficult parts himself and tried to perform his own stunts when it was safe. For example, he was lifted high in the air for scenes with the dragon. Growing up in the public eye while making these popular movies was different from a normal life. Daniel did not go out much with friends because people knew who he was everywhere he went. This meant he did not have a typical teenage social life outside of the film set. But being on the set felt like a second home and a special place to grow up. He learned a lot about acting and about the world from the many different people who worked on the films. He kept working hard in each movie, trying to make his acting better as Harry grew from a young boy to a young man facing more difficult challenges. He learned from watching the experienced actors and by practicing new skills for each film. 5. New roles, new risks. Daniel wanted to try new acting jobs after playing Harry Potter for many years. He did not want to do only one type of role. He decided to take chances with different projects. His first big step away from Harry Potter was acting in a play in London. The play was called Equus. Daniel was 17 years old. This was very different from making movies. The play had serious ideas and some nudity. Daniel's role, a troubled boy named Alan Strang, was difficult and challenging. Many people talked a lot about the play because Daniel, the famous boy wizard, was in it and was naked on stage. Some parents were not happy about this, but Daniel and the people working on the play said it was important for the story. Daniel wanted to show that he was a serious actor, not just a child star. He worked very hard to prepare for the role, including training his voice for the stage. The play was successful and ran for many months. It helped people see Daniel as an actor who could do different things. Next, Daniel made a film called The December Boys. This was an independent film, smaller than the big Harry Potter movies. It was filmed in Australia. In this film, Daniel played an orphan named Maps. This character was different from Harry Potter, even though they were both orphans. Maps was older and faced different problems. In this movie, Daniel had his first screen kiss with an actress. He also showed his backside in one scene, which people also talked about. Daniel was 18 years old during filming. He was one of the older actors on set for the first time, which was a new feeling for him. He tried to help the younger actors feel comfortable. He worked on speaking with an Australian accent for the role. He also listened to music to help him understand his character. Some people liked the film, but others did not like it as much. After that, Daniel decided to try a horror film. The movie was called The Woman in Black. It was made by a famous old company known for horror films, Hammer Productions. In this film, Daniel played a man named Arthur Kipps. This was the first time he played a father. He had to look older than his real age for the part. The story was set in a very spooky house. Daniel's character was sad and scared. Daniel had to do some difficult physical scenes, like being in mud and water. He worked with a psychologist to understand the character's feelings. The director thought Daniel looked very different and good in the old-fashioned clothes and with darker hair. The film was a big success at the box office, making a lot of money. Some people thought the film was too scary for younger viewers. Reviews for the film were different. Some liked it, some did not. But Daniel was happy that he tried acting in a horror movie and showed another side of his acting ability. These different jobs were important for Daniel. They helped him explore new types of characters and stories after the Harry Potter series. He took risks by choosing roles that were not like the famous boy wizard. This was part of his plan to build a long and varied acting career. 6. Life in the spotlight. Being very famous from a young age put a lot of pressure on Daniel. He was only 17 when he moved out of his parents' house in London. He wanted to be more independent, but living alone was hard for him. He felt confused and unhappy sometimes. He started drinking alcohol. At first, he thought it would make him more interesting, but soon he started drinking too much. He became someone who needed help. He would go to bars, but then he was too embarrassed to go back because he did not remember what he did. So he drank alone in his apartment. He felt like he was hiding. He was afraid of meeting people because he did not know what he might have said when he was drunk. He felt like a recluse when he was 20. He was a loud, messy, drunk person. He would call old girlfriends. Sometimes he had one-night stands that did not mean anything. He now knows he was too young to live alone. It was hard for him to hide his problems when he was unhappy. He felt like a part of his mind told him he would fail. Sometimes, he even went to the Harry Potter film set when he was still drunk from the night before. He said he could point to scenes where his eyes looked empty. He liked a sweet drink called Bailey's. He thought it would smell better than vodka for the people who did his makeup. He met older actors who told fun stories about drinking. He wanted to be like them. His parents were worried. Their relationship became difficult because of his drinking. He was afraid the press would find out. People were always looking for child stars to fail. His role as Harry Potter was important. His life was under threat. Daniel's dark years were between the ages of 18 and 21. When he was 21, he decided he needed to stop drinking. He realized it was hurting him. He said he became a boring person. The end of the last Harry Potter film helped him. He had more free time, but he felt lost. He woke up one day and knew he had to stop. He does not blame being Harry Potter for his drinking. He thinks it could have happened anyway. He feels the story about his drinking should stop now. He made a mistake talking about it openly before. It gave people more to talk about. He feels self-critical is good, but hating himself is bad. Daniel made a lot of money from the Harry Potter films. He is one of the richest young people in the United Kingdom. He did not know how much money he had until he was 19. He asked his agent, and it was a very big amount. He got advice from a bank about his money. He does not spend his money in a wild way. He buys art and property, like apartments in New York. His parents help him manage his money. He gives a lot of money to help people. This is very important to him. He helps many charities. He supports groups that give books to children in Africa. He supports hospices for children who are very sick. He helps young people who have problems and need someone to talk to. He also supports a group in America that helps young gay people who feel sad or think about hurting themselves. He has spoken often about how important it is to be kind and accept everyone. He says this is the most valuable thing he does with his money. 7. More than a wizard. Filming the last 2 Harry Potter films was a long time. The films were called Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2. They filmed them one after the other. It was a big emotional time for everyone. The last day of filming was very sad. Daniel, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint all cried. They had worked together for 10 years. After the very last scene, Daniel felt a lump in his throat. He said he had a really nice time. He was sad, but he knew he had new work waiting. Right after finishing Harry Potter, Daniel went to New York. He started a new job on the stage. It was a musical show called How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. This was his first musical. He had to sing and dance a lot. He worked hard with teachers to learn how to sing and dance for the stage. He had to tap dance and do difficult moves. It was very tiring work. He did 8 shows every week. Daniel was 21 years old. The show opened in New York in 2011. People had different ideas about his acting in the musical. Some people liked it, but some critics said his singing was not the best. Daniel worked very hard and did not miss any shows. Warner Bros. Wanted Daniel to come to the last Harry Potter film premiere in London, but Daniel had to be in his show in New York. Warner Bros. Paid a lot of money to cancel some shows so Daniel could go to the premiere. He went to the premiere and then came back to finish the musical. Daniel was nominated for a big award for stage actors in America, but he did not win. He was calm about it. Later, Daniel did a different kind of acting work. He was in a TV show called A Young Doctor's Notebook. It was a dark story. Daniel played a young doctor who had problems. He worked with the famous actor John Hamm, who played the older doctor. Daniel said this job was a big step for him. He learned more about acting. The show had some difficult scenes with blood, but Daniel was ready for it. The show was a surprise success for the TV channel. Daniel also did another play on stage in London. It was called The Cripple of Inishmaan. Daniel played a young man who was disabled. He worked very hard to learn how to move and speak like the character. He even talked to a teacher who had a similar problem. It was a difficult physical job. During the time he was getting ready for the play, Daniel's friend, the actor Richard Griffiths, died. Richard Griffiths played Uncle Vernon in the Harry Potter films and was in Daniel's first play, Equus. Daniel was very sad. He gave a speech at the funeral. Richard Griffiths was an important person for Daniel's acting life. The play The Cripple of Inishmaan was very successful. Many people and critics liked Daniel's acting very much. Some people said it was the best acting he had done. Daniel also made a film called Kill Your Darlings. In this film, he played a real person, the poet Allen Ginsberg. Ginsberg was a famous writer who was gay. Daniel's character had a sex scene with another man in the film. This caused some talk because Daniel was famous as Harry Potter. Daniel said it was just acting and he wanted to play different kinds of people. He worked with a new director who taught him new ways to act. Daniel said this film helped him feel more sure about his acting. He also made good friends with the other actors in the film. Daniel showed this film and two others at a big film festival in Canada. People saw that he could do many different types of roles now. He was showing the world he was more than just a wizard. 8. What's next for Dan? Dan finished playing Harry Potter. This was a very important part of his life for 10 years. It made him famous around the world. But after the last film, Dan wanted to try many new things as an actor. He wanted to be a versatile actor. This means he wanted to play many different kinds of people. He did not want to be known only for one role, like the famous wizard. He chose new films that were very different from the Harry Potter movies. He looked for roles that were challenging for him and showed different sides of his acting. He worked in a movie called Frankenstein, which was a new version of the classic story. Here, he played the character Igor. This role was very different from Harry Potter. Dan also made a romantic comedy film called What If, which was a modern story about friendship and love. He played a young man in this movie. Another film he did was called Horns. In this movie, Dan played a character who had strange and difficult things happen to him. These roles helped him show his acting skills in new ways and helped people see him as a different actor, not just Harry Potter. Dan thinks a lot about his career after the Harry Potter films. He is very passionate about acting. He is always trying to learn and get better at his job. He likes to work with different directors and actors who can teach him new things. He chooses roles that push him to be better and explore new emotions or situations. He is dedicated to improving his craft. he does not want to stop learning and growing as an actor. His life changed a lot because of being famous from a young age. He learned how to handle being in the public eye and the attention that comes with it. He meets many fans and tries to be kind and friendly to them, even when it is difficult or tiring. He also tries hard to keep his personal life private. He has had relationships, and he tries to find a balance between his public job and his private life. For example, he has a girlfriend named Erin Dark, and he values his time with her and other close friends. Dan has many plans for the future. He wants to make more films and maybe do more theater work. He is excited about the new characters he can play and the new stories he can tell. He wants to keep working and growing as an actor for many years. He hopes that the choices he makes now, choosing diverse and challenging roles, will show his lasting impact as an actor who is not afraid to try many different things. He is happy to keep exploring new roles and pushing his limits. What kind of character would you like to see Dan play in his next film?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.